Hey everyone, welcome to Caliverse. I'm Cambo, and today we're working to build our core strength by mastering the dragon flag. There's no exercise in calisthenics that will not benefit from a stronger core, and it will also help us in our day-to-day functions. I'm going to get straight into our specific work today, so make sure you warm up beforehand. In the follow-along videos there is a warm-up you can prepare with, and then come back and we'll get straight into our dragon flag session. To start off, I'm going to demonstrate what we're looking for in a dragon flag, and then we'll talk about the key points that we need to work on. So what you'll notice is that I maintain a hollow position throughout the movement. I never arch my back. This puts a lot of pressure on the lumbar spine, and the function of the core is to protect the spine. And in order to do that, we need to keep it engaged. In our pull-ups, push-ups, handstands, we need to be in that hollow hold. The dragon flag is no different. So we need to develop awareness of our hip position. We need to be in posterior pelvic tilt, which is tucking the tailbone, we're squeezing the glutes, and then contracting, like bracing our core. So we need to get used to awareness of the hips and know where we are. If I tilt my pelvis forwards into anterior tilt, you can see that my back automatically arches and my core is lengthened and disengaged. So get used to tucking underneath, we squeeze the glutes, compress the core, and that's the position we need to maintain. So we can start working on that from the floor. Put your feet in the floor, head neutral, press that lower back into the floor, and you'll notice it compresses between our pubic bone and our sternum. So basically put my hips to our chest, it tightens up. And that's that compressive force we're looking for in the dragon flag and in all of our core movements. The second part is our breathing. Crucial in all of our calisthenics movements, breathing will really affect how much power output you have, but especially with the core, we need to make sure that we keep some pressure at all times. This protects the spine. So what I want you to do is place one hand on your stomach, one hand on your back, and I want you to breathe in normally. Take a breath. And you might find that you're used to breathing into your chest. So then I want you to think about breathing into the stomach, into the diaphragm. Now inhale through your nose. And you should really notice that breath is starting to get into the diaphragm, right into your hips. So that's what we need to be doing, taking forceful breaths into our stomach, into the diaphragm, and compressing that core. Again, zipping up from the chest to the hips. Go back onto the floor, again the hollow position. This time breathe in through the nose, create that pressure, and then press the back into the floor. Maintain that tension, and let's hold for 10 seconds. So you'll notice the shoulders and feet are off the floor. And rest. So those are the two key points there: to be in hollow position, breathe properly, and we're going to have a lot stronger power output. So now we're going to lie down on the floor in a relaxed position with your legs together, arms overhead, and I want you to tuck your tailbone, squeeze the glutes, and then relax. And we'll repeat this for 8 to 10 repetitions. So what I'm trying to do is create a space under my hips. So my hips are coming off the floor. Squeeze the glutes. And then relax. So what we're doing is building awareness of our hip position, building control. Feeling confident with this. You can also walk the arms out overhead and start to lift the arms as well. Relax in between reps, hands on the floor. tuck and lift the arms. Keep the head neutral, facing the floor. But still the focus is on this posterior pelvic tilt. Contracting the glutes and utilizing them in all our movements will amplify our strength, particularly in core exercises. It aids in protecting the back and generating total body tension. Anywhere the muscles are disengaged can be a power leak. So we start from the middle and then we generate that tension throughout the whole body so that all of our energy is directed to the movement we're trying to achieve. So next, we're continuing to work on generating that total body tension by adding in a glute activation. So we get down into our plank position, try and bring your elbows together, get hollow, contract the whole body. And once we've generated that tension, we're set up, we're going to drive one foot into the ground and then lift the other leg. Squeeze the glute at the top and then switch legs. Transfer that weight, drive the foot into the ground before you lift the opposite leg. Keep everything tight and restrict movement to the elevated leg. Keep driving your forearms into the floor. And let's go for 8 to 10 repetitions, so 4 to 5 each side. Squeezing the glutes, keeping the whole body engaged. Anytime the form starts to break down, we take a break and we reset. There's no point continuing if we're not fully engaged. So quality over quantity. To really utilize our breathing and full body tension in an exercise, we need to get tight before we're under the heaviest resistance. So a good way to demonstrate this is with the push-up. So what I want you guys to do, get into your push-up position and just go for a couple of reps. And then break. So for the next one, what I want you to do is start on the floor in a relaxed position, hands underneath your shoulders, and now try to push up. So try to get tight at the bottom. And you probably will find that a little bit harder now because we're trying to generate tension in the most difficult part of the movement. That's why it can really help to set yourself up properly and we get tight beforehand. Next, I want you to get into your push-up position. Now, squeeze your armpits, dig in with your fingertips, try and screw your hands outwards, squeeze your glutes, tuck your pelvis as hard as you can, feel the core brace. And now maintain this, tight elbows as you come down, and exhale as we drive up. And feel the difference there. Feel how much more power you can generate when you get tight before you go into the movement. With our breathing, when I say exhale, what I mean is think about it as if you're blowing candles out. You know, you'll hear it in martial artists when they throw a punch and they make grunts or they make different sounds in different martial arts. That's a technique. If you give a forceful exhale, we compress the core. At the exact moment we want to exert our energy, in that case will be a punch, and it amplifies our strength. So we use that in the same way as we drive through the push-up, and that helps us to drive ourselves back up to the top and generate maximum power. So all these things we're going to apply to the dragon flag, because again, it's a great core exercise, but the whole body needs to be involved for us to achieve it. Let's do one more set in our prone hollow position. Again, relax, so hips on the floor, head neutral, and then tuck your tailbone. Squeeze the top, squeeze the glutes, and back down. Let's go for another 8 to 10 repetitions. And then we're going to do one more set. This time in our supported push-up position. Squeeze the glutes, everything. Squeeze your armpits. Again, grip the floor. And then driving one foot into the floor and lifting the opposite leg. Squeeze at the top and down. Switch sides. Really engage the glutes so we're not letting the hips sag. Stay hollow. Keep that posterior pelvic tilt. Keep everything tight. 4 or 5 reps each leg. Keep driving into the floor with your hands, with your foot, squeezing the glute, bracing the core. Okay, so the purpose of these exercises was to develop awareness of our hip position, posterior and anterior tilt, and to activate the glutes, activate the core. So as we move on, the rest of the exercises, we're going to be using that anchor point, whether it's a bench or a post, bar, whatever it is. We're going to be active with our arms so that we can engage our lats, build that isometric arm strength that we require in the dragon flag, and it also helps with our core engagement. Starting off with alternating leg lowers. With our feet pointed up to the sky, gripping your anchor point, elbows forwards, feel that core engage, press the lower back into the floor, and then we're lowering one leg, exhaling on the way down, and driving up and switching sides. Keep that lower back in contact with the floor the whole time, not arching at any point. Keep the core under tension. Stay active with your arms, building that isometric strength. And we'll go for 4 or 5 reps here, each leg. And then break for a second. Always good to do the most difficult work at the beginning of the session. So now we've activated the core, we've activated the glutes, we're warmed up. We're going to work on our most difficult progression today. So I'll start with the hardest progression, and then I'll suggest some regressions that are going to help you build strength towards that. So first of all, the dragon flag negatives or the dragon flag extensions. Get active, grip with the hands, rolling up onto the shoulders. Roll up all the way so your knees are in front of your face. If you don't come up high enough, it's going to be very difficult. So roll up all the way onto your shoulders. Try to push your scapula into the ground so that we're not resting on our spine. We're going to extend, squeeze the glutes, get that straight line. Obviously the full dragon flag as a negative, both legs straight. So breaking that down, again rolling up. Another option is to straddle your legs wide, still squeezing the glutes. That's our straddle negative. Again, keep that hollow position all the way down. And then the other option is the single leg. Bend the other knee, still squeezing the glute, point the toes, hips all the way through. And try and control that on the way down. Shoulders are packed in, don't let them shrug up to your ears. We want to utilize our lats as we try to control that descent. Single leg negatives, we're switching sides each rep. And dropping all the way to the floor. Don't try and stop there and put too much pressure on the back. Just control it all the way down as much as you can. As you work on those, it will start to slow down. 3 to 5 reps maximum on the negatives, whichever progression you're working on. Remember, you need to be able to keep a firm hollow hold the whole way through. Don't rush ahead. It's not going to help you build your core strength. If the negatives are still a bit too challenging, what we're going to do is simply work on our dragon flag extensions. Same setup, bend the knees, roll up onto the shoulders, trying to retract your scapula, create a stable base, and then we're going to extend vertically. Remember, get those hips all the way through, squeeze the glutes together, and down, and we're going for reps here. As you build strength in these extensions, you can start to extend at an angle. So you can build that angle out. Obviously, the closer you are to vertical, it's going to make it much more accessible. The key there to get the hips all the way through so you form a straight line, shoulders, hips to feet. Point the toes, try to extend out, squeeze the glutes. Adjust your hand position to make sure that you're not feeling any pressure on your neck. I like to be as high above my head as I can, or as far behind my head as I can. So depending on what you're using as an anchor point, if it's behind you on the floor, then try to be away from it. And if it's above you, then try to be underneath it with your arms close to straight. Play around with that. Changing your arm position is going to change the demand that's placed on your arms and also reduce the pressure on your neck when you find the correct position, which will allow us to focus on the core, which is obviously what we're trying to develop. So again, 3 to 5 reps there, whichever progression you're working on. Then take a break, grab some water, and we'll go for another set there. As I mentioned earlier, it's really crucial that we get the whole body engaged and get tight when we're under the least resistance, which in the dragon flag is going to be at that top position, near to vertical. And if we get tight there, get into that hollow position, squeeze the glutes, brace the core, it's going to be much easier to build strength and control that descent, keeping a nice straight line. So go for another set there, guys. Again, pick whichever progression allows you a maximum core engagement and achieve that straight line. Low reps, high quality, taking breaks anytime that the form starts to break down. We're working on those dragon flag extensions. Again, I like to have my hands above my head if I can. Extending all the way, squeezing, and back down, nice and safely. Or closer to vertical. Still getting the hips all the way through, still squeezing the glutes at the top. And then if we're working on our negatives, we have our straddle, legs as wide as you can. Trying to control that on the way down. Really don't overdo those negatives if that's what you're working on. You're definitely going to feel it the next day. It's better to groove the technique so that you can work on it more frequently than to exhaust yourself and then be in agony for a few days and not be able to do any training. So same reps there, 3 to 5. Right, so that's our technique work for today, guys. The next one, we're going to superset 2 strength building exercises. First one being the leg raise, and I'll show you 2 different progressions, and supersetting that with leg extensions, where you will be able to adjust the difficulty by how high you raise your legs. And we'll go for 6 reps maximum with each exercise. Repeat that superset for 3 times. So first one, rolling onto the upper back, straight legs, controlling on the way down, exhaling, bracing the core, keeping the lower back in contact, and back up. Nice and smoothly as we roll onto the upper back. Staying active with your hands, pulling the elbows down, engaging the lats. Don't drop your legs. Same as the rest of them, all about time under tension. Keep the core engaged. We can regress that by bringing the legs to vertical and then lowering. Imagine you're pulling your elbows down to the floor, engage the lats. Let's go for 6 reps, and we're going to superset that with a new exercise we're introducing. Again, same setup. We're going to tuck the knees up and then extend outwards, squeeze and back. Here we can adjust the difficulty by the angle of our legs. So the closer to the floor, the more difficult, and the higher your legs, the easier it's going to be. Point the toes, Squeeze the legs, squeeze the glutes, contract to the top, and then back down. All the while, again, same thing, lower back is staying in contact with the floor. The key with all these core exercises, again, time under tension. So the minute we lose intensity of the exercise, take a break, there's no point carrying on. Rest up. It's better to generate maximum tension for a shorter period of time than to continue as the intensity starts to drop. So go for another set there, guys. Again, taking breaks anytime that the form starts to break down. Nice and smoothly as we roll onto the upper back, controlling on the way down, exhaling, bracing the core, keeping the lower back in contact, and back up. Staying active with your hands, pulling the elbows down, engaging the lats. Next progression, bringing the legs to vertical and then lowering. Take a quick break, and then we're going back into the second exercise of our superset, which is our leg tucks. Remember, you can adjust the difficulty with the angle of your legs. The lower you are to the floor, the harder it is, and the higher you raise your legs, it's going to make it easier, but we must make sure that we're keeping our core engaged and we're not arching our back. Let's go for one more set there. Leg raises. Feel free to adjust the progression, make it easier as you go along to get a few more reps in, as long as they're good quality form. So first one, rolling onto the upper back, straight legs, controlling on the way down, exhaling, bracing the core, keeping the lower back in contact, and back up. Nice and smoothly as we roll onto the upper back. Staying active with your hands, pulling the elbows down, engaging the lats. Okay, nice work. So that's our 3 supersets completed there. We're just going to finish off with a static hold. Again, we're still using that anchor point, building that isometric arm strength that we require for the dragon flag, also helping to engage our core and put less pressure on our lower back. Same start as before. We're lifting our feet as close to the floor as we can while maintaining that core tension. If you need to raise your legs higher to keep the tension, raise the legs higher if you need to get that core engagement. And we're going to hold for 30 seconds. And we're holding for time here. Keep squeezing the glutes, keep using your arms, driving the elbows down, breathing, don't hold your breath. And rest. Take a 30 seconds break and we'll go for another set. Next one, we're going to bring our legs out to the sides, then cross them over, switching each time, still maintaining that core tension, just adding in these scissor kicks. And time. Take another 30 seconds break. One more set in this circuit of leg flutters. Alright, get ready everyone. Last set and then you can take a minute's break. Squeeze the glutes, keep the legs tight, not so wild that we're losing our hip position. Just small flutter kicks, getting some oblique engagement. Keep squeezing, pressing the low back into the floor, pulling with the arms, breathing. Keep going guys, you've got it. Almost there. And time. Almost there everyone, nice work. One more set there to finish of each exercise and that'll bring us to the end of our session. Remember, raise the legs up as you need to, but really try to keep that core tension the entire time. Right, last set everyone, let's go. Legs straight to start with. Keep that core engaged. If you need to lift the legs, just keep that back in contact with the floor. Keep that core tension. Keep breathing. Almost there, 5 seconds. And time. Strong work everyone, keep going, we're almost there. 30 seconds and we'll go for scissor kicks again.
And get ready, and let's go. Scissor kicks, bringing the legs wide out to the sides and then crossing over. Still pulling with the arms, engaging the lats, keeping the core under tension, lifting the legs if you need to, hold them together if they need to, just keep that core working. Almost there. 5 seconds. And time. Almost there, everyone. Last set, one more set. Finish off strong. Last one is flutter kicks. Get ready. And last set, let's go. Compress that core, keep the tension. Small flutter kicks. Squeezing the glutes, engaging the lats, controlling the breathing. Keep going, guys. Last set. Don't let those legs drop. Keep the core going. Stay tight. 5 seconds. And time. Oh, nice work, everyone. Strong finish. That's another session closer to mastering that dragon flag. So I hope you have a great rest of the week. Let us know how you're progressing. Let us know what you want to see coming up in Caliverse. I'm Cambo, and I'll see you next time.